I'm going to tell you something right out of the gate that sounds, well, completely impossible. There is actually a way to hack a phone where the victim does absolutely nothing. No clicking a sketchy link, no opening a weird attachment, no typing in a password, and definitely no downloading some shady app. Nothing at all. Today, we're looking at a pretty unsettling reality in the world of cybersecurity because, everything we thought we knew, every rule we've been taught about staying safe online, has this terrifying loophole. So welcome to this explainer. We're going to dive into a phenomenon that is literally changing the entire digital security landscape. Section 1, the impossible hack. Let's just jump right in. For 20 years, the golden rule of internet safety was super simple, right? Don't click suspicious links.
And it made sense. You are the gatekeeper. But here is the stark reality we're facing now. The most dangerous new hacks require absolutely zero action from the victim. An attacker sends you a message, and the very moment your phone merely receives it, literally before you even pull it out of your pocket to look at the screen, the phone is already compromised. The camera and microphone, they can be silently switched on. Your messages, your private photos, your real-time GPS location, all of it becomes instantly readable to someone who could be thousands of miles away. And the craziest part? You will never know, because there is nothing to notice, and you were never asked to click a single thing.
Which naturally brings us to a massive mystery. If the user isn't making a mistake, if they aren't accidentally downloading malware or handing over a password, how in the world do you hack an untouched device? It sounds like some paranoid sci-fi thriller, but it is very real. So how does this impossible crime actually work behind the scenes?
To really understand the mechanics here, we have to contrast this with what we're all used to. Think of traditional attacks, like those annoying phishing emails or fake scam texts, as con artists. A con artist knocks on your front door and relies on you willingly opening it up and inviting them inside. If you just ignore the knocking, they can't get in, right? Well, zero-click attacks operate completely differently. They are more like a master burglar who has found a hidden, microscopic flaw in the lock itself. They don't knock. They don't need you to open the door. You can follow every single rule, touch absolutely nothing, and the lock still fails, slipping them right through the digital walls of your phone's security.
And that brings us to our formal definition for today. A zero-click attack is a cyber attack where merely receiving a crafted message compromises a device requiring zero user interaction. Now, these aren't just simple party tricks. Attackers and even state-sponsored groups will spend literally millions of dollars to find these deeply hidden vulnerabilities in the everyday software that powers how we communicate.
Section 2, the self-opening letter. So, how exactly does a message hack a phone just by arriving? Let's unravel the invisible software bugs that make this possible. Every phone runs on invisible software. Think about it. When a new text or iMessage arrives, your phone instantly runs background code to process it. It decodes the text, it renders a preview, maybe it whips up a little thumbnail if there's an image attached. This auto-processing happens automatically the exact instant the message hits your device. Remember, you haven't even touched the screen yet. Now, sometimes this invisible software has a dangerous bug. Attackers carefully craft a message so that when your phone tries to auto-process it, bam, that bug is triggered. Instead of just decoding the text like normal, the phone actually starts executing hidden instructions packed inside the message itself. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole paradox. The absolute best analogy for this is the self-opening letter. Imagine someone sends you a physical envelope in the mail. You don't open it. You don't even check your mailbox. But the envelope is made of this strange material that the second it lands in your mailbox, it unfolds itself, reads itself out loud, and then just walks right inside your house. The mail itself was the attack. A crafted message acts entirely on its own once it hits your phone, weaponizing the device's own background processing against itself. Section 3, real-world espionage. Because this isn't just some abstract thought experiment. This is an active reality for journalists, human rights lawyers, and government officials all around the globe. If we look at the timeline, we can actually trace the escalation of all this. Back in the 2010s, we saw the rise of Pegasus. Now, Pegasus was a notorious spyware made by an Israeli company called NSO Group, and it was sold to governments and ultimately ended up on the phones of activists and journalists. Fast forward to 2021, and a watchdog group called Citizen Lab made this incredible discovery. They actually caught a real, in-the-wild zero-click exploit named FORCEDENTRY. It attacked iPhones specifically through the image rendering code inside iMessage. It was so severe, Apple had to issue emergency updates immediately. And today? Well, Apple is regularly sending out rare, direct threat notifications to users worldwide, warning them that they're being targeted by state-sponsored spyware using these exact zero-click methods. So the absolutely crucial point here is this number, $2 million. To put that into perspective,
A single, highly effective zero-click exploit can cost upwards of $2 million to develop or to purchase on the underground market. And that completely changes the economics of who actually gets targeted by these things.
Now, here is a very reassuring reality for most of us. Take a look at that massive slice right there. The general public. You are almost certainly not the target. These are incredibly expensive government-grade espionage tools. They are strictly reserved for specific, high-value individuals. We're talking about that tiny slice of journalists covering dictatorships, lawyers working on sensitive cases, activists, and top politicians. Honestly, the vast majority of everyday people are simply not worth burning a $2 million exploit on.
Section 4, defending against zero-click. Okay, let's pivot to how we can actually protect our tech, whether you happen to be one of those high-profile targets or just an everyday user who wants to practice good digital hygiene.
For those who actually are at genuine risk, there is a highly specialized defense. Apple created a feature specifically for this called lockdown mode. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It severely restricts what your phone can do. It blocks most message attachments, it disables complex web features, and it turns off a whole lot of that invisible automatic background processing we were talking about earlier. Yes, it definitely makes your phone a bit less convenient to use day to day, but it acts as the most powerful armor available, simply because it completely removes the very processing surfaces that zero-click attacks rely on to sneak in. Now, for everyone else, the core defense strategies are pretty straightforward, but they do require some discipline. First, and absolutely foremost, update your software immediately upon release. The only reason these exploits are rare is that companies eventually find and patch the hidden flaws. Installing a same-day software update is the closest thing we have to a universal vaccine. If you are high risk, go ahead and enable lockdown mode, and maybe even use a totally separate, clean device for your highly sensitive data. And finally, if you ever, and I mean ever, receive an official threat notification from Apple or Google, never ignore it. They do not send those out by accident.
Section 5, the future of hacking. Let's look ahead and see how this high-speed battle is actually starting to spill way beyond just our smartphones. When we compare the escalating tactics between offense and defense, it's intense. It's a total arms race. Exploit developers find flaws, companies patch them, and then developers just go and find new ones. What used to take years now takes months. But on the flip side, defenders are adapting too. They're rolling out rapid emergency patches and threat alerts faster than ever before. However, attackers are now looking at a terrifying new frontier: artificial intelligence. Just think about it for a second. AI assistants and agents are literally designed to automatically ingest and process massive amounts of incoming data, documents, and emails on your behalf. Researchers are already sounding the alarm, warning that attackers are figuring out how to send these self-opening letters directly to AI agents. That could turn this into a massive internet-scale risk.
We've covered a ton of ground today in this explainer, from invisible bugs to million-dollar exploits. So I want to leave you with this provocative question. Had you ever heard of zero-click attacks before today? It completely rewrites the rules of the game, doesn't it? So your action item for today is simple but absolutely vital. Pull out your phone right now, check your settings, and if there is a pending software update, do yourself a favor and install it tonight. And please, share this knowledge with anyone you know who handles sensitive information. It really might be the most crucial thing they learn all year. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and stay safe out there.